Hey, we're gonna talk about the shoulder. Shoulder, what's shoulder do? Movements of the shoulder. What's can be the problem in there? And as you can see, the shoulder is hanging on that scapula, right?
Mhm.
So the scapula is hanging on those ribs. And the most problem for people, what's happening because we lose this radial motion in our shoulder and problem because we start losing mobility in thoracic area. I've been talking about this many times. We're gonna learn today how to check thoracic mobility and all the mobility of the shoulder. But my just through all those years practicing, when people like losing that humerus bone right in that socket and the muscle holding kind of like in the air that shoulder, so that the bone, if some muscle, specifically pectoralis muscle, become dominate, and what they do, they pull that the whole scapula this way, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what's happened with the shoulder. I mean, with this humeral bone, with the joints, it start pulling also forward, and we start losing this mobility of our shoulder. So the perfect shoulder have to be the socket, the bones in the socket have to be in the air, and that muscle surrounding is so many muscle up there and ligaments and tendons. They have to hold that bone in the air, like you know, inside, so it's perfectly move around. But if something going on, like people shrugging a lot, especially massage therapists, they most of the time they working that way. So it's really important to relax. And I see a lot of people, the big mistake, you guys make your table so high, so high. Just think about it. uh, I I got the shortest guy here, and I'm not gonna say name, and I come in, and he's table like that high, and I'm not sure how he do massage. He's probably like this, or maybe I don't know how. But some people say you have to be like on your wrist. I said as low as possible because all you can always go down, right? I'm just talking about this body mechanic right now. So you always came down, and you can use your body, lower body, and your body weight to do the therapy. But if the table's so high a little bit for you, even a little bit, just think about it. The customer is right here, and that's sometimes we have a bigger clients, right?
Mhm.
So this is what you do. You shrug your shoulder, and that's already activate some muscle. Some muscle become tight, like a trapezius. Some muscle become weak, like your lats, your serratus. So this is really important to when you do massage, when you do therapy, to see where's your shoulder. But if you're shrugging all the time, and we do we do,
Mhm.
it's gonna be bad for you. Or for your hands, you're gonna start feeling tingling, numbness, and that's the problem. Also, for those hairstylist people, if they come in and they said I'm a hairstylist or whatever, I'm an electrician, guess what? What they do all day, right? They shrugging their shoulders. They doing this all the time, especially one shoulder. You can see they come in, and I'm like, "Are you a hairstylist?" They're like, "How do you know?" Because you can see they do every day, so they create that pattern. Okay, we are the patterns. What we do, whatever who we are, we become. So
Mhm.
just go a little bit over the course. But the problem is some muscle become dominate muscle. Most of the time it's a pectoralis muscle. So if you see person like that, just work on those pectoralis muscle. Activate muscle in the back like a rhomboids lats, and work deeply work on those pectoralis. Okay, pectoralis major, minor. Just make sure this scapula in the right position. Sometimes you can see the bigger guys, they work on the lats a lot, and what's happening, those scapula is kind of rotated this way. Like, so you can see that scapula angle, it's kind of rotate out. So what's happening, this muscle's become super weak too.
Their arms are forward.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
falling forward, the pecs is also, yeah, exactly, like a monkey. Some may walk like this, but that's absolutely
Yeah, a lot of
fine.
bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why it's important? Because this nerve is coming from the C3, it's coming right on this clavicle and that scapula, and it go right under your arm. So what's happening here, if we elevate that arm all the time, we compress with this second rib or first rib, and that's numbness and tingling in your, you see this coming right in here.
Makes
And this
sense.
we,
Some YB sleepiness.
yes, it's a radial nerve, a medial nerve. If you feel pain in your big thumb and your index in the middle, it's a medial nerve.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of it's a radial nerve. It's a pinky one.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say I have tingling everywhere. That's something you need to check. So it's really important to keep that the humeral bone and that socket nicely and smooth. And most of the time not, because people work at the computer, they hunch forward, they start losing this mobility, they start losing stability in the lower back. Because if we can't move around here, what's happening, we start decompensation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys agree with me?
Mm-hmm.
If I can't turn my neck to take a look what's going on there, but I have to go there, I'm start using my lower body, and you don't want that. You just want your neck work operate really well. So every part of the body do specific function and specific movements. Our lower body, this is the core. It have to be strong. But when you start moving, it's not become strong. It's become flexible. You don't want that. That's why sometimes yoga people, they say, oh, I have this lower back pain, because they focus on those stretches and pulling, but they don't focus on core. Sometimes you can see those yoga people, the core is so strong, you can't even move him, but so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
They can stand on one fingers and do all that crazy stuff. But, yeah. So today we're gonna continue to talk about the shoulder. What we know about the shoulder, what movements we do in the shoulder. We do abduction, we do internal external rotation, we do
adduction,
yeah, good. So
extension, flexion.
it's moving everywhere. And if it's not moving, like I said, if we get this rotation, it start problem in the elbow, it's problem in the wrist, and that's become problem. So today, Natalie, we're gonna work on your shoulder. We're gonna check everything, and then after we show the wrist, because most of people who are using those forearms, they need help, right?
Yeah.
So today we're gonna show our forearm technique and elbow technique. Okay? So you can pause this. Perfect.
Okay.
So you're right. The most people, like you said, they have specific doctor for the shoulder, doctor for the hip, doctor for the whatever foot, but it's just one piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to treat it one piece, because some doctor, they just I don't know, shoulder's not working. Okay, here we go, pills or surgery, but it might be the problem in somewhere else, because compensation, like you said, this is the great thing. So we have to look at the person as a one piece.
Yeah, what happens is a doctor's an ophthalmologist, and they look only at the eye. They look at the eyeball as separate from everything else, and they don't make any connections. But orthopedic surgeons too, I know a lot of them, they'll look only at your shoulder, but they won't look to see how your back is throwing off your shoulder, or your hip is throwing off your shoulders, or if you're levators, they don't even touch you and analyze your soft tissues to say, oh, well, your nerve is being pinched in your levator scapula, and it attaches to the nerve in your neck, and that's affecting your arm and what's going down into the shoulder. They just look at an x-ray or an MRI of your shoulder, and they show you a picture of that, and they tell you what's wrong with the shoulder and what they have to do surgically or medically to just this one piece. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that it really isn't isolated from the whole thing. But what we do is we look at it and we can see. You can see from your posture, you can see from your head tilting, whether you're putting too much pressure on this from your posture and other low back problems maybe your thoracics, maybe your hips aren't aligned. So you're putting a lot of unnecessary work on it, and it's doing too much work. And if you balance it, then it's doing a normal amount of work that it's designed for.
Yeah. And the problem is you guys always try to chasing the pain. You don't want to find the cause of the pain. What's happening, let's say your shoulder is hurt and you just go and type it shoulder pain and they show you a bunch of tests and you try to do those tests and like, oh, okay, this test is negative. I mean, positive. I feel pain. That's it. That's the key. I have a shoulder impingement. But the problem is, what are you looking for? You're looking for what do you do every day? Your basic day routine. Whatever you do, that's what you become. Whatever you think, that's what you become. You know, this is the true, and it's been proved so many times. Let's say I'm driving to the right side. What's happened to my right side? My right side muscle has become tight on my lower back. My shoulder is shrugging this way, so it's limited. Get tight up here. My lower back is get weak up here. Let's say my hip has got shifted. So we have to looking for through every day, and this is what we have to catch yourself. What you doing like at this moment? How do you sit? How do you walk? How do you stand? So the presency of you, the moment, can help you and save you a bunch of money and bunch of time to go to the doctor. So just catch yourself. What do you do, who you are, and of course do those correction exercise and visit manual therapist. Yes. So we continue to talk about the shoulder, and this is the great test when customer on prone position. Before I go to the shoulder, I will look at the whole picture. I see how my client leaning. Is that he leaning to the left side or to the right? I see the spine. And what I see, it's a little lordosis here, so you can see that curve, and it's really actually, yeah, it's pretty good one. Also a little bit rounded back, and what I see, she leaning to the right side. But now we're talking about the shoulder, and the first test, it's external rotation. External rotation. What I'm doing here, I'm gonna place my hand gently, just make sure she's not gonna compensate, and lift that shoulder up. And what we're looking for, she's not gonna lift up. So all you have to do, very slow, raise this up. And what we're looking for, 90 degrees. And it's not 90 degrees, it's probably 70, and I see a lot of compensation. She's going to the side. Hold on, so we're just gonna chest it. I'm gonna try to help her and see if it is a motor control problem. So remember, if your customer can go to the specific angle, you can always try to help and see if you help and it's going to the specific angle, like we're looking for 90 degrees. That's mean the reflexes problem, the motor control problem with this person. Now we're looking for internal rotation, and we're gonna ask Natalie, raise this up. Now you see she's trying to compensate, just as far as possible. And here we go. So we looking for here 60 degrees, and that's probably, it's not 60, it's probably 50. So both of them limited. Let me try to help and see if I can go. And actually I can go easily to the 60 degrees. So what's happened here, we have a mobility problem with external rotation of the shoulder, and we have a reflex problem with internal rotation of the shoulder. It's hard to like understand in the beginning, but when you get that, you will understand everything. So here, as you know, the rule number one, we treat mobility first. So we need to treat external rotation of the shoulder first, and this is our main idea. Now the next one test, we're gonna try to check extension of the shoulder. We place the shoulder beside the body and ask our customer just lift the arm up. We're looking for 55 degrees, and we have some compensation, and it's not definitely 55 degrees. If you're not sure, you can use those chronometer or measurement. So let me go grab one.
Yep.
So this is chronometer. You can guys also use on your phone. It's a really good application up there. But old school, so what we're doing here, we place right on that 90 degrees and ask Natalie to move up. And we go to the middle, so it's right in here. So I'm going to raise up, roll down. So we are actually on 30 degrees. So it's a 30 degrees. So we short 25 degrees. Let me see if I can help her and go there without problem. So go ahead, raise it up. And I can feel limited. I don't want to push hard. So basically what's happening with Natalie, because she's also a manual therapist and a massage therapist, and she always put that power, and her pecs is going inside, so the shoulder is rotated forward a lot. So that's what we have a problem with the pecs muscles, and we lose mobility of the shoulder. And she also complained on those elbow pain and the wrist pain. Remember, if
my elbow is correct.
Yeah, if you lose your mobility in your shoulder, this is always going to be a problem with your elbow most of the time, and the wrist problem, because the energy and blood is not circulate right, and body mechanic is not right out there. So it's really important to keep your shoulder in healthy status.